Hello and welcome to another update video about DOT. DOT is still here in this range, between support and the upside breakout point. But it's starting to look interesting because DOT broke today out above the trend line, right? So last few days, Bitcoin was quite volatile actually on the weekend, at least on the smaller time frames. The altcoins really didn't do much until today when some of them, including Solana and DOT, started to break out of their local downtrends. Okay, we're still in the overall range there, but they are breaking out of their local downtrend. We can see that when we pay some attention to this trend line there. Yeah, so they are trying to break above the, DOT certainly did break above the trend line. Several 1 hour candles now closed above the trend line. Now, is this already a confirmation we are going up? Not necessarily based on Elliott wave. What we have based on Elliott wave is, however, a completed downside structure. So I mentioned that in the last video that was made, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, when we saw a completed downside structure already. Now that didn't mean that we have to turn around. Okay, so I did not predict the low there, but I highlighted the wave count is complete, and these are often ideal places to turn around. But we need some kind of a signal, like for example a break above this descending trend line. So anybody who used that as a signal to maybe get into a trade would now nicely be in profit, especially with a trend line that has like 3 to 4 touch points. These are typically quite relevant. And also on top of that, obviously the downside wave count was complete. But yeah, there can always be extensions to the downside, but this is now getting a little bit too large for still, to still be part of that immediate downtrend. Not too large really, of course it could still go down, but it's starting to, something's changing, right? And that's all that trend line breaks tells us. Something is changing, and we can see that the market is trying to push higher. Obviously, the reaction to that 50% retracement level there at $4.21, that caused a bit of a buy reaction there. And important is, though, if we zoom out a little bit, that overall we understand that really until the price breaks above the wave 1 high, which is here at $4.94, we don't have a confirmation that a third wave has started. Now, that third wave to the upside would be a 5-wave move as well, right? So it would be a wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me change the wave degree here briefly. Essentially, we need this. Now, when we get the first, the wave 1 of 3 completed, and then it's holding a higher low. Ideally, that wave 1 even breaks above the larger wave 1 at $4.94, well, then we have a confirmation from Elliott wave, but that can take a while. It takes patience and everything to wait for that structure to develop. But obviously, therefore, I gave you that trend line as initial early signal that possibly some kind, just some kind of a low has formed, and it's just a trigger to watch the chart basically, So what happens next? So the microstructure here is a little bit messy. There's just not enough structure for me to work with. Only shadow pullbacks. Not entirely sure what this is. So we need to wait now that 5 waves to the upside form. If they form, then I can add the next support zone to the chart for a wave 2. At the moment, this is still the support zone between $3.85 and $4.37, which means that as long as we're holding above $3.85, the bulls have a chance. Below 385, things are starting to get really difficult for the bulls because no wave 2. So we see the current, or let's say that correction, which might be complete now. Again, can't be confirmed yet, but that correction is seen as a wave 2, and these wave 2s shouldn't really break below the 78.6 fib level. So we have to be a bit patient, but starting to get interesting. Some altcoins are starting to wake up, come back from the weekend trip, basically, as we're getting into a new trading week. Could be an interesting trading week. Interesting as well is that Bitcoin is now, just as I make this video, going down a bit. DOT isn't showing that. So they are maybe starting to move a little bit in the next few days, but we'll see. It's definitely interesting. I'll keep you updated. Overall, the structure hasn't changed, but we can now watch if the third wave has started. If it's a third wave to the upside, it should take us to $6.57 or higher. That's the update about DOT. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.